Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the 1111 Matrix Code Revealed. As always, I'm your host, Garrett King. Well, I wasn't actually intending to do a video today, but I was doing some research and I stumbled across something that was so extraordinary and blatant that I just had like this feeling that I needed to share this with you guys straight away. Let me just kind of tell you what sort of sparked the whole reasoning for even like delving into this. So I've gotten, questions from people through Instagram, and through some emails asking about just like other versions of the Bible. Everything that I basically have been showing is the Torah and, in Hebrew. So it's like the original, Hebrew Bible. But I've had people, ask me questions about, the King James Version, the New International Version, which is what I'm going to actually show you today. Just like, do these codes work in those versions of the Bible because they're in English? And it's just interesting because I was just looking and came across the New International Version of the Bible, and I found it really interesting that the wording is different than the translation straight from Hebrew to English. For example, like Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Now, in the New International Version, it's different. It talks about the earth was formless and empty. Like they changed the wording, which, I guess I can understand to a degree, but this feels uber blatant that this code was placed here on purpose. Now, the question is, who placed the code there? Was it man? Was it done intentionally? Was it done through divine intervention? I have no idea. But you're going to see just how blatant, like, it really is. I'm kind of torn between, was this done through divine intervention, or are there people in the know who have placed this code there? Yeah. So let me go ahead and pull up what I've done here. And I want you guys just to look at this portion. So the New International Version says, in the beginning, and here's what I've done. So I've taken this portion, sorry, I hit the mic, taken this portion and I have placed it like I would if I was doing a Bible code search. So as I was saying, hang on, let me back up here. So that's why you're seeing it on the screen like this, all the letters running together. All the punctuation has been removed. I've made every letter a capital letter so that it's all uniform. But I want you to look very, very closely at what I have here on screen. And I want you guys to see if you can actually find what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you want to pause this video and just spend some time looking at this, here, I'll zoom in. That way it's there very large on screen. So it's entirely up to you. I'm going to show you, but if you guys want to pause this and look for it yourself, go for it. So, but anyway, as I was going to say, they've changed the translation. Okay, so it's now, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Okay? It's a huge difference from in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Okay? Now, part of what is forming this new code is the part right after, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, they've added that word now, okay? And it's right here. Instead of and the earth was without form and void, they've changed it to now the earth was formless and empty. And then it doesn't even say and darkness was over the surface. It just goes straight into, the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface. Now, you're going to see just how intentional this was, because by changing the wording, it's created this code that I'm going to show you. Now, one of the things that I did was I took the text and I used all the standard numbers that I usually, use, ones that keep showing up over and over and over. I made the width 37. I made it 11. Just again, changing the width just to see if, some sort of vertical code would show up. Now, as it turns out, I also started looking at numbers that would reduce to 11, 38, 29, etc. Now, it just so happens to be that 29 was the right key number to use. That's how I found this. So I'm going to go ahead right now and show you the code, okay? So, but actually, before I do, let me just show you. Let me go up here and select all these letters going across the top. Now, it's kind of small down here at the bottom of the screen, but it shows that the count is 29, okay? So that's just showing you guys that it's 29 letters going across on every single line here, okay? Now, the code that I'm talking about begins right here with the word God, okay? And actually extends over to the C in the word created. So now, if we come from that C straight down, look what we have here, folks. We have God code. God code. That is so blatant. I mean, again, what are the chances? Now, either this was done intentionally by man who is aware of this code, or it was done divinely. Okay? Now, there's a couple of interesting things here. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this portion that I'm talking about. Okay? So as you can see, God code. Now, there's a couple of interesting things going on here. So let's just look at what I think is one of the most obvious ones. So we have God coming across to the C and then code straight down. To me, it looks like it's forming the number 7. Okay? 7. Now, again, we got to this by changing the width to 29. 2 and 9 is 11. 11's a master number. You don't reduce it down any further. Now, another interesting thing here is every letter after code, okay, so from here to here is exactly 11 letters. We look down here, we can see the count is 11. Okay, so we'd have 11 here, here, and here. Now, this, it could just be me looking too deeply into it, but I don't think I am. if you were to take just a shape, okay, I'm just going to put this little rectangle here and stretch it across, okay? Now, if we were to copy that and come down here and here and here, okay? Now, obviously, the code ends. There's no other word that can be formed out of R, T, H, F, G, I, E, okay? It doesn't spell anything. But again, we have 11 letters. So if we were to take this, and I'm just going to go ahead and group those together, and let's rotate it 90 degrees, look what we have. We have essentially the number that we keep seeing all the time, 11, 11. If you were to look at this as being 1, 1, 1, 1, okay? Now, that could be a stretch. I get it. That's something that I see visually, and I just wanted to, make you guys aware of it. Now, let's just go ahead and delete that. So we have the word God, and again, code. Coming straight down, they're connected. They're connected. Again, that's another key part of this. They are connected. Again, that leads me to believe this was intentional. Okay? Now, the word code could have showed up anywhere else. I'm trying to find another C here. Here's a C in the word face. And there's an O over here and a D and an E. But obviously they don't line up like this. And I don't know. I haven't played around with it enough to really look any further beyond this, to see if this C and O and D and E could eventually line up depending on how we, change the width of this matrix. But here it lines up. God, code with a width of 29. Again, a number that reduces to 11, and it's a master number. But there's more to this. So if we start here and we count over to the G, we see that it starts at 15. Okay, so this is G is the 15th letter, O is the 16th letter, D is the 17th letter, and C is the 18th letter. Okay, so think about that, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Now, I've actually spelled this out down here, basically. So when we get to the O is the 47th letter, D is the 76th letter, and E is the 105th letter. Okay? Now, when you add each one of those up, the placement, okay, the 15th, 16th, 17th, and so on, the placement of each one of these letters, you add that up, we get the number 294. Now, I have talked about this number in the past. It's been a while, but there is a huge connection with this number, and I'm going to talk about it here in just a second, but hopefully you guys who have been around watching these videos since the beginning, hopefully it will trigger something, a memory of what I'm talking about. But I'm going to show you something here. So if we were to take the Lord's Prayer, and this is where I've mentioned this number 294 before. If we take the Lord's Prayer and literally place it into this shape, it will form a cross, and it fits perfectly. It fits perfectly in the shape of a cross. And there is exactly 294 letters in the Lord's Prayer. Okay? As you can see, it starts out, the Lord's Prayer, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven, and so on. Okay? All the way down to the very end where it says, Amen. Now, here's one of the big connections. So the number 294 in Greek ordinal gematria is the value of Lord Jesus Christ. Okay? So that's one big connection. But here is the other one. And I think this is, to me, it's blatant, but at the same time, it's also hidden. Okay? So again, God code, just the way that it's formed, it looks like the number 7. Let me open up my calculator here. And we haven't talked about this number in a while, but watch. So we have the number 7. It's visually there, okay? So 7, and then we know that the placement of each one of these letters, where they're placed, equals 294. So 7 times 294 is 2058. The year that this code seems to be representing will be the year of this reset. Now, folks, this was an extraordinary find. I didn't expect to find this. It's just when I came across this and everything started falling into place, I was like, holy shit, like, how can anyone sit here and say this is coincidence? It's so far beyond coincidence at this point that it cannot be ignored. Now, again, the question is, who placed this here for us to find? Is it some secret group? And I say group, I don't know what else to call it. You know, some secret group of people that have this hidden knowledge that are doing this on purpose, or was this divine intervention? Again, I don't know. I don't know. But it to me, it's blatantly obvious. It simply says God code, telling us there is a code. There's been this code all along. Now, something else interesting. Let me show you this. I'll bring this down. So in Hebrew, and I've showed this before as well. This is just another one of those interesting connections that ties all of this back. So when we take Genesis 1:1, verse 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, it will form a triangle. Okay. Now, I want you guys to pay really close attention to the letters that I have highlighted in green. Okay. So this is very interesting. So we're going to start with Bet, the first letter. Okay. It's in the center because obviously it's the first letter and there's no other letters around it in the triangle. But now if we look at the second line, we have a letter and a letter. But then on the third line, we have 3 letters and 1 in the center. Okay, so we have 2 on the side. Now we get to this row, and we have 4 letters. There's no center letter here. But then we get to this line, and we have 2 letters here and 2 letters on both sides. That's what I meant to say. So 2 letters on both sides. And we have Yud sitting here in the center. Now we get to this line. We have 6 letters. There's no middle letter, okay? If there was a middle letter, we would have 7 letters, 3 on this side, 3 on this side, 1 in the center, like we do here at the very bottom with the letter Hey, okay? So we have 3 on this side, on the right, and 3 on the left. So looking at it in that way, I'm focused on just this first letter, Bet, Yud, Yud, and Hey. Okay? And then we're going to look at this line right here. So it's Bet, Resh, Hey, or not Hey, sorry, Aleph and Aleph. Okay? Bet, Resh, Aleph, Aleph. Now, look at that very closely. We have a cross. Okay? But let's look a little deeper at this. So the value in Hebrew Gematria of each letter. So we have bet. Bet's the second letter, so it has the value of 2. Yud is the 10th letter, so it has the value of 10. Okay? So we have bet, Yud, Yud, Hey. Hey's the 5th letter. So, and then bet again is 2. Resh, as it goes further down. So when you're looking at Hebrew Gematria, it goes 1 through 9, and then it goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and then it goes 100, 200, 300, and 400. Okay, so Resh would be 200. And then, of course, Aleph being 1, or the first letter, we have 1 and 1. Okay, so all of these, 2, 10, 10, 5, 2, 200, 1, and 1, the total is 231. All right? Now, what's the connection here? Well, 231, okay, 231 just happens to be, or actually, hang on a second here. Let me, hang on. I'm trying to remember if 231 is, let me pause this. I need to look this up. Hold on. Let me pause. So let's pause this real quick. Okay, so I'm back. I had to look this up. The 231st composite number. Okay, so you have numbers 1 through, whatever. So any number that is not considered a prime number is called a composite number. So the 231st composite number is 294. Okay, that's what I had to look up. So I couldn't remember if 294 was the like if I was going to get that wrong, saying it backwards. But I looked it up, and yes, the 231st composite number is 294. So again, that connects us right back over to here. I mean, sometimes this just gets so crazy when it comes to these connections and how things are connected in this way that it just blows my mind every single time. And again, it's so blatant. It's so blatantly obvious that there is a code. I've said this 1,000 times. I think my body of work shows that there's a code. But my God, it's just like it sticks out like a sore thumb in this instance here. And again, like who was behind placing this code here? Again, was it man or was it divine intervention? I have no way of knowing. But it's obvious. It's obvious. God code. Crazy. So, and then again, just the placement, that's what's interesting. Now think about this. I want to go back to this real quick. Now, I talked about them changing the translation, okay? This is, again, showing how blatant this is. Had they not changed the translation, this code would not appear in this way. Because, again, think of the Hebrew translation, the one that I've talked about all along. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. Okay? If the word and appeared here instead of the word now, we would not have that O to form code. Okay? And it would change all the other letters here so that possibly darkness would not have appeared, or the D in darkness would not appear here. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it was changed The translation was changed, and yet this word code appears here. Again, if the word and appeared right after earth, we wouldn't be seeing this code. That's why I'm saying it's blatantly obvious this was done intentionally by man or by divine intervention. Again, I have no way of knowing. So think about that. Think about that. And again, the placement, the number placement where the letter falls, equaling 294, the fact that it looks like the number 7, and 7 times 294 is 2058. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Short video. I just stumbled across this and I was just like floored, and I just was like, I have to get this out. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please, I don't usually ask you guys. I mean, I do at the end of the videos, but I don't usually say it in the video. But, you know, if you guys enjoy my content, please give it a thumbs up. Share, you know, do whatever to get the message across. I really feel like I'm being kind of shadow banned on YouTube. I mean, you guys have said it yourself. I've had other people say it. You know, other people that I've been on their podcast, they're kind of just shocked that, you know, my subscriber count is not what, you know, they think it should be, or, you know, it's not higher than what it is. So it almost feels like I'm kind of being shadow banned. There's a lot of interest. I mean, the number of emails that I've gotten from people and the number of subscribers that I have, it does not balance out. But, you know, I don't want to be one of those people that just sits there and constantly begs, you know, for you guys to like and subscribe. But it does help, and it's going to be one of the ways to help get this message, this code out there for other people to see. You know, the more people that sees it, you know, maybe we can come closer to getting to the final truth. You know, maybe there's other people out there that, you know, aren't aware, but they have something that they can offer to the code, or maybe they have knowledge and we're just not aware of each other, you know, and you know, this person over here or this person over here, we can all come together and put our brains together and really tackle this thing and figure it out, you know? But yeah, so if you would just like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. But I'm not going to sit here and say that in every single video, because I just don't want to be that type of person that just begs for, you know, likes and subscribes. So, yeah. All right, that's it. I'm going to let you guys go. I just thought this was extraordinary, and I just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention. So, all right, until next time, I hope you all take care, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.